Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 24 career mode, and today we're here for the 10th round of our first MotoGP season for the German Grand Prix at the Sachsenring. Now, if you didn't see the last episode at the Dutch Grand Prix at Assen, I do recommend you go check that one out before we do get into this one, because of course it was quite a good weekend for us on the whole. A track where I expected to pretty much dominate, pole position, double, that was my objective going in. Didn't quite live up to those expectations, but given the conditions of the weekend, we had a wet weather qualifying session, a dry sprint, but then a full wet weather race. We actually picked up some decent points. Unfortunately, not quite enough. We did lose points to our championship rival, Enea Bastianini, but the gap is only 2 points, so not a massive problem. The biggest issue probably is that Bagnaia seems to be on a little bit of a roll and potentially coming, and also the round that we have ahead of us, obviously the German Grand Prix at the Sachsenring. In the last few games, the AI have been overpowered at this circuit. They have been super fast, and to be honest, I alluded to it, well, I probably straight up said it in the last episode. I was kind of expecting it to be the same here, thinking I was going to struggle. Did a little test in a quick race before coming into this, and it seems like that might not be the case this year, so I'm keeping my mind open. I'm hoping we can have a good weekend. Again, aim is obviously to try and win some races, but you never know. We are only on a track house of Aprilia, of course, but we are fighting for the championship, and we are very capable at winning at tracks where I expect to struggle, such as Mugello, so I guess we will see. So without any further ado, I'll head into the weekend, and I'll see you after free practice. So scratch everything I said in the intro about this potentially being a little bit different than I expected going into this weekend, because as you can see here in qualifying, I didn't make it through to Q2 directly. I was close. I was actually 11th place, but unfortunately we were actually knocked out. Now, it's not too bad, because 3 out of the 4 Aprilias are in this session, so I can blame the bike a little bit, but Aleix was about 3rd place, so maybe not too much can be blamed on the bike here. But yeah, pretty uncharted territory for us. I think we've only been in Q1 once this season. I think it was at Le Mans, and that was obviously wet weather, so we qualified right at the back of the grid. Here, the pace isn't too bad, because even though we were only in this session, I was only 7/10 off the top time. I was a couple of hundredths away from going through. Obviously, that's what it's going to be like at the Sachsenring, just because it is so close. But yeah, as I was saying before, a little bit disappointed to be in this session. Pace was there or thereabouts, so I think we have got a chance of going through. It's not like one of these Q2s where, Q1s should I say, where you've got no chance of going through, like where it was in Le Mans, where it was wet, where there was no way I was ever going to go through, or anything like that. I do feel like there is a legitimate chance, so we will have to see. It is also now proper... Whoa! Okay. Not the way to start the session, that's for sure. As I was going to say, it's sunny now. In free practice it was cloudy, which I think always hurts the player a little bit more than it does the AI. Because the grip just isn't there, whereas just the AI can do the full time. So we will see. Obviously, grip is probably... This is going to be the most important track on the entire calendar for grip, I would say, because you literally spend the entire circuit on the side of the tyre. So I'm actually going to lower the fuel mixture here and just try and put some temperature into the tyres, because you see they're absolutely frozen. And that was why we actually got high-sided off. We also now have damage, potentially, which isn't great. But fortunately, we have 2 bikes. So if we do have damage when we get back to the pits, I'll just swap to bike number 2. So we're coming through the last corner, about to start our first flying lap. But honestly, I'm not going to maybe go 100%, because you can see the tyre's just still not in the window. So I'm not expecting much. I'll put it to power number 3. We'll go anyway, because I may be able to just build that little bit of temperature in the first couple of corners. But this lap might be a bit slower, because the tyres aren't right in the window. So a 19.6 right away by Raul. So it's a pretty decent time. Obviously, we went quicker in free practice, but even still, I really had to push at it to get... I think I did a 19.1 in free practice. That'll be my best lap of the weekend, but yeah, it's super tricky, and it's so hard to find chunks of time like that. Morbidelli's gone with a 19.3, so it's already looking like it's going to be a pretty competitive session. We're already 4.5 tenths down on this lap, although, like I said, the tyres are not in the window. In fact, they're still not really in the window now, so it's not going to be 100%. I'm struggling with the tyre temperatures here, I must say, especially on the left-hand side, which you wouldn't expect because it's such a left-hand circuit, but obviously that is the hardest side of the tyre because it is asymmetric here. So this is an issue that I'm having lately with my controller connections, so there may be some abrupt cuts in the video because of this. But anyway then, over the line, 1 minute 20.2, so 8 tenths off, not good at all. We will have to see, and I've completely messed up the first corner already in the long lap penalty lane, so that's going to be this lap gone as well. Well, this lap's not a lot better, honestly. In fact, I don't even know if... No, it wasn't even better in the end. We lost time at the last corner, so... Yeah, unfortunately, obviously with our excursion at the first corner, the lap was not an improvement whatsoever. So we've got to go again. Okay, this time we have found a lot more time, 0.6 of a second. But unfortunately, still sat in 6th place, so absolutely not good enough, of course. It's not going to get us through, and we've only got just over a lap of fuel left, so this will be the last attack. In fact, I might actually have to just pit at the end of this lap, because if it thinks I'll run out of fuel when I press back to pits, it might just end the session, which isn't great. But you can see DJ Antonio's time, which is top of the session, is better than what I did in practice as well, so I really don't have hopes of getting through, even if I put basically a perfect lap together. Who is this? That's Zarko. Is he on the pit limiter? I think Zarko looked like he was stuck on the pit limiter there, which I've got to try and maintain my composure because I've already got a push here on this lap, but that was interesting. I would imagine he's going to get a penalty for that, which I actually feel quite sorry for him because it's clearly a bug in the game where for some reason it thinks he's in the pits. So, no idea. I have never seen that before with an AI. I've seen the player get the pit limiter stuck on them before, but I've never seen it happen to an AI. And the only time I've actually seen the AI go around with the pit limiter on is when you've modded the track in incorrectly, or they haven't got AI lines or whatever, like the whole 180 riders back in the day. Into the last corner, unfortunately. Again, doesn't seem like we're improving. Try and square it off, but again, it spins up at the last corner. That is something I'm struggling with a lot. Yep, 7/10 off. We only got 4 minutes to go. We're going to just have to keep going and going. I hope maybe someone faster does either overtake us or come out in front of us to tow us round, but it doesn't seem like the case. And, well, so far, we've got balked by someone coming out the pits. So, at least at this rate, we might be getting the other people in this session long lap penalties for the race, so they might get out of our way, but at the moment, the 2 people that have got in my way are actually behind me, so that's not exactly ideal. So I'm on a bit of an improvement here, and you can see Zarko is still trying to make his way back around right on the racing line, so we go through the last corner, and that might have just cost me everything I had. So he comes towards the line. We are still underneath, but only slightly. And, well, that was probably my best shot, but you can see the top time now is an 18.8 by Viñales, which is ridiculous. So Viñales, not sure why he's even in this session, because he definitely had the pace to not be in it. Oh! Okay, well that's it. That is it completely over, because it looks like Zarko was still going around. Digi Antonio's hit him, they've caused a crash, and that has brought out a yellow flag, which has invalidated my lap. Again, I was underneath. But there you go. The luck of the draw has not been against us. Johan Zarko has managed to screw us 3 times. I mean, to be fair, the first time he wasn't really in my way, but he still took my eye line and definitely cost me a bit of lap time. So there you go then. Maverick Viñales tops this Q1 session and goes through half a second clear of Fabio Di Gianantonio at Sachsenring of all places. And in fact, an 18.4 is probably the fastest lap all weekend because I did a 19.1, I was 7/10 off, so maybe they just went slightly faster in practice, but even still, Viñales' pace is basically top 3 there. And so that's kind of a shame, because that locked us out of that top spot. Yeah, not much luck, unfortunately, but that probably means it's going to be a bit more of an interesting race. I hope Enea Bastianini doesn't qualify too well, but I guess we'll find out when we get to the grid. So without any further ado, let's get into the sprint. Okay, so I saw Enea Bastianini was actually 5th place on the grid, so could be worse. At the moment, that would be, well, in the sprint, is that 5 points, I think? You will notice, no long lap penalty, so Zarko has somehow not got a penalty despite literally going around for 3 laps in a row with his pit limiter on. Interested to see how the stewards worked that one out, but anyway, doesn't really help me whether Zarko has a long lap penalty anyway, because he's behind me on the grid. So without any further ado, let's get into this, and I'm just going to have to get my elbows out.
Jorge Martin heads from pole position. All of the other riders on the grid breathing down his neck. In a few seconds, the lights will go out and the race will begin.
So Martin is then on pole and Acosta in second, so hopefully those guys can stay ahead of Bastianini, but the lights are on then. Wait till they got here for this German sprint race. The lights have holding for quite a while. Lights out and away we go. And we've been jumped by Augusto Fernandez already, so we go down towards the first corner, but I'm going to go for the outside into turn 1, try and brake nice and deep. And that should typically work as we go around the outside. We've got past a couple of the Yamahas. There's a bike down. Is that Enea Bastianini? No way was that Enea Bastianini in the middle of the pack there down. I think it was. Bagnaia has also had a terrible start from that front row. And you see Bastianini has crashed. It's confirmed it on the right hand side of the screen. We're already up into the top 10 just about as well. Alex Marquez going really slow. We're down now as well. We've got caught up in a crash of our own. We're still being flipped over. And that's where Self and Enea Bastianini right to the back of the field. In fact, we're side by side here. I'm under investigation, so we will have to see, but no idea what the AI were doing there. They just all seem to check up for like no reason through that turn. I had a bit of contact with someone. I clipped a curb as well, I've actually been given a warning, so the game has deemed it as my fault, which is probably true, because I've come from behind and hit into them. But there you go then, myself and Bastianini right at the back of the field. Not exactly the way either of us wanted to start this race, but to be honest, I'm not too fussed. Marc Marquez, shock horror, in the lead at the Sachsenring. Bezzecchi in second place, so the GP23 seems to be going a little bit better then. And Martin in third, but we've got 8 laps ahead of us. Oh, I've completely cut the curb there. That's messed me up a little bit. I was going to say 8 laps ahead of us, but I suppose it's only 7 now. We've got plenty of time to try and catch back up, but I think I kind of screwed myself with that one. I lost a lot of time to Enea Bastianini there. So you know how I said Zarco wouldn't be a problem? We are going to have to overtake him. And we're not that far behind him either. Fortunately, we didn't lose too much time. I'd love to watch that back on the replay, because they were all checking up, and I think I was just getting a bit excited, thinking I could gain some free places, basically. So I just kept the throttle open. I shouldn't have done that. So I'll kind of take the responsibility on that one, but didn't think perhaps we'd get an opportunity like that. And who's that down? I think that's Alex Marquez. Yeah, it is. So that puts us up to 21st, so that's one position, and he's out the race as well, so I'm not going to worry about him coming from behind. Tell you what, Marquez actually has got the pace of his own, 18.9. That is some going there. It's on 19.7, so yeah, my pace is pretty much where it has been all weekend. We are pretty much on the back of this group now, so we'll see. Bastianini's not made any inroads so far. Kind of just want to follow him through, but I'd say at this point, lap 3, I don't think we're going to get back to the points. There's just not enough laps to make all these passes, because there's only really a couple of passing places here, so even if you have a big pace delta, like you see Bastianini does, it's actually very tricky to make a move. So let's see the 17.5 there, Bastianini. This is going for a move down towards turn 1. I'm going to go for the outside pass on Enea. Am I going to pull it down? I think I am. Actually going to go right around the outside of him. Yes, I have. So we overtake our championship rival here. Didn't expect that. Someone's down. I think it's Jarmir. So that's put us up into 19th place now then. Yeah, it was Mir. But right on the back of Nakagami. We're almost hitting him at the back, in fact. I'm going to go around the outside of Nakagami. Not really worked out. I'm surprised didn't get a Trollomit's warning for that. That's allowed me to get the inside through the Ralph Waldman curve. A bit of contact with Taka. Apologies, Taka. Didn't want to be that aggressive. But we've got to try and make the passes whilst we can. It's also probably good practice for the main race. And that is Luca Marini also losing the front to the Honda riders. Really struggling with the front end, because we've just watched both Repsols wash the front out on the same lap in basically the same way as well. That has given us a free position, although I have just noticed the rider behind is now Enea Bastianini. So Bastianini's also found his way past Nakagami, so I would suggest we'll probably end up scrapping with Bastianini for the rest of this race now, which will obviously affect our progress. Really more for pride than anything between the two of us, because, well, 17th is not going to give us points in either race, so really nothing to fight for but pride back this far. Look at the gaps, by the way, to the leaders. 11 seconds I am off the race leaders, and look on the map, they are miles ahead. The lap times they're doing as well, 18.6. Ridiculous. They are literally simulating their times, they're that far in front. So I have actually just thought that my race objective for the team actually is 15th, isn't it? So if I can actually try to get Zarco and Miller, we'll get some more reputation. So there actually is something still to fight for here. And you can see also Ralph Fernandez is ahead of them, and always good to try and get one over on your teammate, especially for the social media and the team leader kind of side of it. So even though there's no points on the table, there's definitely more than pride up for grabs. So we've run wide to the Queckerbergs. That got allowed Bastianini through. It's actually not, which is a surprise, because I was kind of expected to come flying through over the line. 19.4, so we are suddenly finding a little bit of second wind, and here we go at the inside of Jean Zarco into turn 1. Am I going to pull it down a little wide? Is it going to line back up the inside? No, it's not. So there we go then, up into P16. Next up, Jack Miller. But yeah, as always in these sprints, I'm finding a bit of extra pace on the last few laps. It just seems to be like this every single time. So again, it should show that in the main race, from half race distance, we will be a little bit quicker, although you can see it's still a decent chunk off what the leaders are doing. If the two Fernandezes keep battling as well, I'm able to capitalise on that into the last corner. See, Augusto really is holding up this whole group here, trying to get the run. Actually, I'm on a personal best lap yet again. So again, the pace is just getting better and better. 93, down towards turn 1 on this last lap. Look, the inside of Jack Miller we go. Are we going to get the inside of our teammate as well? Oh, I had to let the brake off there to pass Raul. Is that going to force me to lose a spot to Miller? No, it's not, so it's fine. Sort of tried the 2 for 1. It didn't work out. We've stayed ahead of Jack, and that's all that's important really, this 15th place, because that will give us that bonus. Augusto's wide again. We've got the run. Yeah, stuck on the outside of Raul. I've got to be careful. If I do anything aggressive to Raul, do not lose a place to Jack Miller. all over the back of our. We've picked up another track limits warning, but we are fine because we've only got 2 so far, so we've got plenty. Fortunately, it's not like real life where you lose a position for going on the green on the last lap. Here we go then towards the last corner. Ralph Fernandez going a bit defensive. To look for the move, maybe potential on Augusto as well. Can we try and outdrive him up towards the line? Use the right device side by side with our teammate up towards the line. I think Raul might have just got that one. I'm not too sure. Yes, he did there. He did just beat us to the line. You can see, look at the lap time difference. 1 minute 20.0 compared to my 19.3. So we were much quicker than those guys there. In fact, we had the pace to be in the top 10. You can see we had a better, fastest lap than Vinales, who was the guy that did the ridiculous 18.4, so he was a second a lap slower in the race than he was in qualifying. But yeah, we had the pace there to be in the top 9, but just not able to do it, unfortunately. But there you go then, Marc Marquez takes, I think it's his second win of the season, his second sprint race win on that Gresini Ducati. Generally, he's not been performing too well, but to be fair, on this occasion, at his favourite track, as you'd expect, he does dominate there. A second clear of Bezzecchi in second, and then Martin a second and a half back from him in third place. Obviously, the main thing for us is that we actually didn't lose any points to Enea Bastianini like we potentially could have done, because neither of us scored. I'm a bit gutted that we didn't score any points, because I think we had the pace to do so, but you know what, I got too excited on the first lap, saw that AI checking up, tried to basically ride through him, and I kind of got the consequence for that. So I'll make sure not to do that in the main race, and hopefully if we have a decent start like we did in that one, there should be some points on the table. So here we are then, down on the grid for the main race here at Sachsenring, and I have just been back and looked at the replay. Bastianini pretty much got completely wiped out by Brad Binder into turn 1, so not sure how Brad Binder didn't get a penalty. And me, there was a little bit of contact with Alex Marquez, but actually I hit the curb, so I actually don't think it was quite as egregious as I thought. I kind of thought I just ran into the back of the AI and crashed that way, but I was trying to go for a small little gap. Over-optimistic still, so I do apologise that I threw all those points away, guys. But, you know, it's not the end of the world, because Bastianini also didn't score anything. But this main race ahead of us could be interesting, because I am quite positive now going into it. Obviously, I got absolutely destroyed in qualifying, really. I think the pace is there. I think we could move forward, but I just have to be a little bit more careful. Try to be opportunistic, because, you know, it's hard to pass here, so I've got to try and take the opportunities, but don't take insane risk, because obviously if I crash, it's race over. It's not like Jerez when we were using the adaptive AI, and you could still win anyway.
Jorge Martin heads from pole position. All of the other riders on the grid breathing down his neck. In a few seconds, the lights will go out and the race will begin.
I wonder if Marc Marquez will be able to make that good start from the second row again and try and do the double. But here we are on the grid then. The lights are on. Waiting for the guy here for the German Grand Prix. Lights out. And away we go. It's a decent start there, but Augusto Fernandez has had a fantastic start as we go down towards the first corner. I'm going to try and do the outside pass again, because it worked pretty well in the sprint, and obviously it worked for Marc Marquez really well in the sprint as well. Not quite as good as in the last one. I guess that's because Bastianini got took out in the last one, which kind of held a lot of people up around the outside of Alex Marquez. You can see the two Yamahas just ahead of us there. Quartararo up the inside of Alex Rins. Alex Marquez trying to cut the inside of me. A bit of contact with Rins as he clips in on the inside of us. We're at the inside of Brad Binder a little bit as well. We're going to just try and force our way through. Brad just about makes it through. Fabio Quartararo a little bit wide. Can we try and beat him down towards the next left-hander? Side by side, Fabio leans in on us. I shut the throttle. No point taking risks, because there we go, up into P9 already. So we've made up 8 places on this opening lap. So it has been a good start. Bezzecchi just a couple of spots ahead of us, obviously on the podium in the sprint. Brad Binder, wow, okay, he's been aggressive this weekend. Rins comes through as well. Thought Alex Marquez was going to try and follow through and make it a trio. He's still trying. So again, it does seem like the AI do kind of train through you a little bit at this circuit, which was something I was a bit worried about. Didn't experience it in the sprint, because obviously I wasn't really running in a train. Alex Marquez, what are you doing, Alex? Alex, what are you doing? He's completely turning on me. I don't know what he's trying to do. I mean, he's pulled off the move, to be fair, but it's not really fair, is it? And he's leaning on me again. Ralph Fernandez, our teammates, out the race. I'm pushing Alex Marquez a bit out of the way there, and that's allowed Franco Morbidelli to come through. So Morbidelli, just watching myself and Alex Marquez, his former teammate from Moto2, of course, leaning on me, just sort of bashing each other. And whoa, Morbidelli! Fair play, Morbidelli. I've got the inside of his turn 1. I thought that would be pretty much a move done, because it had been in the sprint race when I was doing that. Alex still trying to stick it in there. Alex pushes us out the way, okay? You can have the position, mate. We're now being just shuffled backwards. It is like those usual starts to races where we just get absolutely beaten up. Digi Antonio just rides through me as well. So we had a good start. We're up into P9. We're now back to 15th place. And really, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just the AI could just turn underneath me, and they're just at the moment not really regarding any kind of fair overtake. They're just completely ramming me out the way, which is just not fun and not fair, really. And oh, here comes Sean Zarco now as well. So the rider that we certainly were faster than in the sprint bashes us out the way. Well, now I'm starting to get a bit annoyed. We're going to go back at Zarco, I think, into the Saxon curve. I thought better of it there because I just could see a collision happening. There goes Nakagami, and all of a sudden we're down to 17th place, and well, may as well not even bothered having a good start because that's exactly where we started on the grid. So we're back to 17th once again. We've got the run though down towards turn 1, or I suppose up towards turn 1 on this occasion. And there we go, up the inside of Nakagami as well. Did a bit of a stoppie. That should get us past him. Hopefully he won't be able to get back in front. And we'll see about Zarco. Maybe Omega is an opportunity for Zarco, but again, as we saw in the sprint, risky. Didn't work out for me there, obviously we had a crash there. And he actually defends it quite nicely on this occasion, so not much that we could do. But I'm hoping, as this race goes on, my pace will just come in. We'll get a bit of momentum back, because obviously we just kept getting hit out the way, so there's not much momentum you can build up. Hopefully we can try and find our way through. I don't mind a bit of aggressive battle there. I do like it, and you know, a little bit of contact from time to time is okay, but when they're just all riding through you like you're not even there, it's just bad game design, isn't it, really? Right, so we're losing a bit of ground now to Gian Antonio because of Zarco. He seems to be losing his pace a little bit. He had it in the opening couple of laps. Again, we're in a position to try and pass him down towards the Saxon curve. This time, though, we're going to do it before we even get to the corner. And I'm going to be quite aggressive with him. He's trying to tip in on me. But you can just get ran out of road, mate, to be honest, because you completely ruined my weekend anyway. By well, he didn't completely ruin my weekend, but you know what I mean. He made our life a nuisance in qualifying by going around with the pit limiter on. But there we go, and we've passed Zarco. We're finally back up into the championship points. And once again, you can see Marc Marquez is leading the race, so he's finally getting into a groove with the Ducati. He could finally get his first double here this weekend. And his first main race win. I don't think he's won a Grand Prix yet on the Ducati in this career mode. But yeah, you can see he's already 6.8 seconds ahead. It's crazy how much they pull. So the lead guys are going to just pull away again. But it looked, fortunately, like Bastianini was towards the back end of the top 10 once again. So hopefully if I can pick my way through these guys, which I think I'll be able to do in a few laps' time, because I think I'm finally going to be able to build some momentum, we'll maybe be able to get onto the back and potentially challenge Bastianini, or at least pick up only a few points less than him. Damage limitation weekend, of course, when it's a circuit that AI are this good at. So on that previous lap, they did a 19.3, which is only 2/10 off the fastest lap I've done all weekend, quicker than what I did in qualifying, although to be fair, we didn't really get a chance to do the best lap in qualifying. And it's pretty much put us onto the back of Gian Antonio, so yeah, I should kind of expect getting towards half race distance. I'm finding a little bit of form. That's gone by so fast, the fact that we're on lap 6 already. I want to try and pass Digi ASAP though, really, because we're obviously rapidly running out of time in this race. Even though obviously we're not a half race distance yet, but the laps soon tick off. And you can pretty much see, I think that's the limit of where we're going to get to, is the front of that pack where Quartararo is, because there's a big gap ahead of him. Already 8 seconds off the back of Marc Marquez as well. We've got a good run here on Fabio Di Giannantonio. Down towards turn 1. Up the inside, massive stoppie. Closing up a lot to Viñales. But there we go, we've passed Digi then. Up into P14. Next up then is Mav. Then it's Alex Marquez, Morbidelli, Rins. Looks like Binder. And then Fabio Quartararo. There is somebody a little bit up the road ahead of Fabio. Although, speaking of Fabio, here comes Di Giannantonio back up the inside of me. I'm going to try hanging around the outside like Alex Marquez did to me earlier. And yes, I've just about done it. Fabio's still trying to hang it up the inside. Well, he's just going to push me out the way. So this is the problem I'm going to get here. With Zarco, I was at least sort of able to pass and gap him. Whereas Digi's obviously coming back at me, which he has every right to do. But he's only really affecting our overall race times here. We could have caught up to the back of this pack together, I think. But obviously he doesn't really fancy that. He just fancies riding through me instead, which, yeah, was kind of what I was thinking might happen at this circuit. I was pleasantly surprised at the sprint, I can't lie, but seems to be back to the status quo in the main. Yeah, there's a 1:20 on that lap. So that shows you how much we got held up by Digi sort of re-overtaking us. And into turn 1, blow the corner, so lose even more time. And we're now going to be halfway through the race since we get halfway through this lap. So we really do need to start making positions. But I suppose if we pass a rider per lap, that will get us to the front of this group. But that is quite an optimistic estimate, it must be said. Starting to be a lot of battling going on in front. With Morbidelli, Alex Marquez and Viñales. Can we get the run here on Di Giannantonio down towards the Saxon curve? I'm going to go for it into the Saxon curve. I think I'm going to blow the corner though. Yes, I am. I'm going to run wide. Can we try and get the switch back on him? I don't want to pass him into the last corner, really, if I could be honest. I just want to try and get the run on him, pass him into turn 1 again. Obviously then the problem is he might ram me back out the way at Omega. We've lost 3 a little bit. Have we got the run on Fabio? Yes, we have. In the slipstream, we should be able to pass him once again into turn 1 on the brakes. Yes, we can. We're closing up again to Vinales. But once again, we make our way through. Maybe the only way to stop us being overtaken by Digi is to immediately sort of nerf Vinales out the way. A bit like the Moto 3 style of attack or be attacked, but going to be tricky. Alex Marquez, at the same time, seems to be trying to deploy that strategy to stop himself being overtaken by Vinales. So maybe that has got to be the way to go in this pack race. We're all over the back of Maverick now. So the same equipment underneath. He has got the factory version, but they're pretty much the same bike. So it might be a bit easier to pass him maybe than the Ducatis. Although, obviously for now, not going to make the pass. Tell you what, they are so close that I'm going to have to probably think about maybe doing double overtakes or thinking about where the AI in front is going to be when I go for the pass. Because it could be very easy to career into the back of one of them. So Alex Marquez just managed to keep in front of him there by leaning on him just like he did to me earlier on. We've got the run here on Vinales. It's going to be tricky. Try to make a pass there. Morbidelli's off the circuit. Is Alex Marquez going to be able to pass him? No, he's not. Am I going to be able to get the switch back here through the Ralph Waldman curve? Not really. And in fact, I actually put myself at a lot of risk of Gian Antonio there. Did not get the run I expected. I tried to open that corner up and carry all the speed, but it just spanned, didn't really go anywhere. So I was actually lucky to keep this 14th, really. I'm just not getting enough of a run out the last corner to be close enough to make a pass down towards turn 1 at this rate. Into turn 1, it's going to be a late move on the inside of Vinales. Oh, we just made it underneath it there. That was aggressive. It was late as well. He's going to get straight back up the inside of us though, but I'm going to have the inside for Omega. Just getting my elbows out because this is what they did to me earlier on. He comes back up the inside of me again. Tell you what, we've had some good battles with Vinales this year, haven't we? Really aggressive, but really good battles with Vinales. But I'm just getting so frustrated now because I can see that they're holding each other up by battling. I just want to get in there. I want to get involved. I want to make some positions up because I can see my championship slipping away from me if I don't. There's a lot of points here in this pack. Picked up a challenge this warning, but should be fine. Again, it's only the second one of the race, so much cleaner than at Assen. Down the hill then, you can see Vinales has got the run a little bit down towards the Saxon curve. Try not to hit him. Try and swoop around the outside of... Surely not going to go around the outside of Vinales. Not quite going to try and hang it in there, but no, not quite. I bet you're wondering why I keep going on the outside, and it's honestly not deliberate, but also it's probably a bit of a self-defense mechanism. If I put myself on the inside of the AI, they will probably turn in on me, whereas if I go on the outside, I'm more in control, which sounds weird because it really should be the other way around. But up the inside to turn 1 once again on Maverick. It's a hell of a dive bomb. This time, didn't get it stopped like I did on the previous lap. I might just have to invent something a bit weird around the lap. Try and maybe into one of these turns or something. Just, I'm going to get a bit desperate because we are running out of laps. We've got like 3 laps to go. Really struggling just to try and put myself in a position to make a pass. Right, so we're closing again through this section of the track. Vinales goes a bit defensive there. Can we try and force a move? We hit him at the back actually, which isn't too good. Right, we've got to run down the Ralph Waldman. Here we go then. I'm going to have to send it into Queckenberg. I'm running out of Saxon curve, sorry. I'm running out of opportunities. Vinales sort of turns in on me like I'm not there. He puts me on the curb. Oh my word. The AI. And I've ran wide here. Digi's going to come back through. And that's me back down to 15th. Well, I'm not having that for Fabio, Digi and Antonio. We're side by side with them already. We're going to definitely pass Digi. But we're literally on the penultimate lap of the race now. So all hands on deck. We've just got to throw the kitchen sink at it. There's nothing else I can do. We're right back on the back of Vinales. 2 tenths underneath my personal best already. So you can tell I really sent it into turn 1 on that occasion. So here we are then, about to start the final lap of the race. It's been a crash, apparently in sector 4. Not sure who's gone down behind, but I don't care. Up the inside we go for Maverick Vinales in turn 1. We're looking for a move here, potentially on Alex Marquez as well. So all of a sudden, we've gone from not being able to pass anybody the entire race to passing 2. Alex Marquez back up the inside of us. Makes a pass once again. Miller apparently getting along that penalty for something a bit behind. So I think he might have knocked somebody off. I think that might be what the yellow flag was about. And Vinales comes back at us as well. So we've been shuffled back even after all that progress. Again, it just shows through the left-handers. They are just second to none, the AI. See, Quattararo actually has finally been overtaken by Binder as well. So that could potentially cause some upset in front. So we're really getting towards that back half of the track where I've got a little bit of a pace advantage over them once again. You know what, I've just nerfed Vinales out of the way, but I don't even feel bad about it because he's been nerfing me out of the way the entire race. We've managed to make our way past Vinales. He comes back at us though through the Ralph Waldman curve. Can we do anything down towards the Saxon curve? He's on the outside, I'm on the inside. He's going to try and turn under me. I'm just keeping the bike upright so that he can't knock me off. He's still trying to hang around the outside. We're going to run him right to the edge of the track. I think we might have Vinales, though, into the last corner. He comes back out as an aggressive pass from Maverick on the inside. He's pushed us a bit wide. It's like, oh, Di Antonio through. It is! Come on, Maverick! Ah. I think that sums it up. What a disaster. What a disaster that was. So Marc Marquez then does his first double of the season, his first ever double, because obviously he wouldn't have won a sprint race and a main race if you consider real life, and then this season as the 2024 season. First on a Ducati as well, so fair play to Marc Marquez. Good to see him finally on form, because he was nowhere in Texas when you expected it to be quite good, and he's been nowhere most of the other weekends as well, really. His best weekend was probably Mugello. The best two performances I've seen from him up to now were Qatar and Mugello, two of his notoriously worst tracks, so there you go, a little bit weird in this game sometimes. Jorge Martin then bounces back from last weekend's disaster with a second place, so that's a good amount of points for him, so that's 2 second places for him. Pedro Acosta third, Bagnaia fourth, Espargaro fifth, but Enea Bastianini is in sixth place, so pretty crucial then. If we look at the damage in the championship though, all of a sudden Bastianini now has an 11-point lead, which again is not the end of the world. I think it's been bigger than this previously, and considering that, what it was it 3 points coming in here, 8-point loss, not too bad. That's not too bad over a weekend where I scored 1 point total, so yeah, that's pretty good. As for the Teams Championship, Pramac do move ahead of us because, of course, literally 1 point over the weekend is going to do that for you because Raul Fernandez DNF'd in the main race and obviously was battling with me in the sprint, so he was also on 0 points. Martin having the double podium and Morbidelli not having too bad of a weekend as well. Puts them 20 points clear of us, so not ideal at all. And then in the Constructors' Championship, 82 points is now the gap for Ducati. Another perfect weekend for them. Pretty difficult to stop them. KTM still sat in third place behind us in second. So pretty much as I said last episode, not a lot of movement. And of course, still the bugged gas at the bottom. But with that round completed then, it is time to head back to the Career Hub. See what is said on the social media, because I've got some strong words to say about some of the riders in that race. And I'm sure they'll have some to say back, because we were aggressive back to Vinales. And he dished it back out. To be fair, like I said, we've had so many battles with Vinales this season, but it was just silly. It was so silly. I mean, the start I had, the first lap was good. It got me into the position that I probably had the pace for, but they just ride through you, and as you saw, it just happened repeatedly throughout the entire race. At least on the positive side, we did finish P15 in both races. We literally just met the objective in both races, so we actually gained quite a lot of RP, because you don't gain much for actually winning races or performing well, so that's good. I'm glad that the team has pretty low expectations, and even when we have a bad weekend, we are still able to match them. But here we are back in the Career Hub. You can see we have got 2 social media messages. You got one from Brad Binder. At this point, we've seen it all, but Biker and Yamaha would be an odd choice. Obviously talking about our potential move for next season that I chose in the summer break. So we'll respond to Brad. Well, I think some reporter let things get out of hand, because the other day I walked in front of a pit that wasn't mine. We'll say that. Brad will respond nicely to that one. And Raul Fernandez says, Bikers race forced us to work even harder for the weekend at Silverstone, otherwise we risk staying too far behind. Well, to be fair, you beat me in the sprint, but you did crash in the main race, so not great. But I'm going to say I haven't had an easy time, but this was the result I was hoping for with the team. Now I need to look at... I can't say that. I mean, I don't really want to antagonise him, but I'm not saying that this was the result I was hoping for, because I finished 15. Surely it should take that into account, that you're winning the championship, you're battling for the lead of the championship, and you finish 15th. You're going to be pretty mad. Anyway, ending a race ahead of a direct rival is always a good feeling. At the end of the day, the team and I always want to be in front, and we know we have the better bike. But he's my teammate. I don't have a better bike. None of these prompts make sense. I'll say that one. It's annoyed him a bit, but that sums up the episode, doesn't it? None of it makes any sense. So yeah, I really don't know what to say on the outro for this, to be fair. You saw what happened. You saw I was probably a bit annoyed by the end of the race, which I do get after these races sometimes because of the way it goes. We have got the British Grand Prix next, which is my home race, so there is that. But it is a track that I've not gone too well at in the past. Again, it's another track where you're on the edge of the tyre quite a lot. So we will see. Could be another weekend where we lose some more points. But hopefully you have enjoyed this one. Regardless, if you are new to the channel, please do like the video and subscribe, because it really does help me out. And of course, it'll put some more MotoGP game content in your subscription feed. Let me know in the comments as well, how did you guys get on in your Sachsenring career modes or quick races or whatever? Did the same thing happen to you? I've heard they were supposed to be better on this game, but in that main race it certainly didn't feel like it. It seemed very much like the old school AI in terms of, okay, you've overtaken me, well, can you leave the circuit now, please? So let me know, did you guys face the same problems? But other than that, I hope you do enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.